much like the Indiana Jones, we dig through the dirt, and from the ground we pull forth Subclasses Part 3. Who are these brave archaeological heroes, I hear you ask? It's me, Theo.
And I'm the guy dressed up as a Nazi, Neil.
No! How dare you? How dare you?
We're doing Indiana Jones, aren't we?
Why wouldn't you short
I'm
round?
Hitler. I'm Hitler.
He's
He's in the third movie.
He is in the third movie, but Indiana didn't even punch him. How dare he not punch him?
No, he got his autograph.
I guess I could be.
He did. So please, who are you? Which Indiana Jones?
I was just saying, I guess for alliteration, I'd be short round.
Yeah, you can be short round.
Short round.
Yeah.
Sam Round.
Sam Round.
Now we're getting to Hobbit names.
Yeah.
Back to D&D. Excellent.
Speaking of which, you don't like the Fey Wanderer, do you?
No, I've changed my mind since then.
Good.
I kind of like it now.
Because I think this one isn't bad.
I will say up front, as you two both know very well, I, Theo Matthews, very much do not care for Ranger as a class in general. I also feel supported in my belief because they keep reworking it, so clearly they're not satisfied with it either. So, anyway. This Ranger's okay though. I didn't like it when I first read it, and I still don't like the thing that I dislike about it, but everything else about it I'm like, that's fair enough. Okay, so the Fey Wanderer Ranger is... It's a wandering ranger. No, it's not. It's
Nice.
You're a
guardian.
You're a guardian of the Feywild, specifically Feywild, not other planes. This is one of the things that when I originally read it, I was like, I felt like already things like the Plane Wanderer, or what it's called, Plane Shifter,
Horizon Walker.
Horizon Walker. That's the one. I felt like that it was slightly retreading ground with that, but I do prefer this one to that one. So if I'm gonna not like one of them for. Or being similar in the area to another one is
like
the other one I don't like
the
more.
lesser one, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's not.
I think
they do very different
think,
things, but I feel like the issue I had was more like this. You've done like interplanar stuff with a different ranger already. Like I don't know. That was my gut reaction to that.
The thing is that this character doesn't. I don't think really crosses the plane.
No, that
he stands
that is
at the gate.
Point, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Of course, the Feywild it's not evil, but it's very different, and there's a lot of evil things in there. It's a strange
high magic.
Very high magic. Lots of things that like to prank and are dangerous when they do that sort of thing. I think hags are Fey, aren't they?
Yes.
Yeah, so...
In my mind, anything that's from, like, a nursery rhyme is Fey, basically.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Already flavor-wise, like, just from this is the perfect kind of class-race combo for, like, an elf or a half-elf.
Well, you might see what I'm drawing now. Can you understand what I have drawn?
I see big pointy ears.
I see the drawings. I see the evil.
You see horns, but if you look to the first thing in the Fey Wanderer is they have a Feywild gift. And I like this thing. They suggest that you have a physical manifestation of your Fey-ness, and they recommend like delicate horns or antlers sprout from your head, or your skin is like your skin changes color to match the seasons, like butterflies fly around you as you sleep. Really nice little things, nothing like gameplay, just little roleplay things. I think they're very fun.
Delicious flavour.
Nice as well.
Mm.
Yeah, they're nice and sort of ethereal, fairy-esque thing. So I think that's cool.
Yes.
I know this is a Firbolg that I'm drawing.
Yes, when I saw the nose, I was going to say that.
Yeah. But then horns.
But I recoiled away in fear once I saw the antlers.
Yeah, exactly. Firbolg are like, from what I could tell, they're big people, not giant, but they're big. But they are Fey related, I believe, from looking at them. Yeah. So I thought that'd be a cool, because I say like an elf or a half elf. It would make a lot of sense and it'd be cool. But I think there's a distance between, as we were saying, these aren't people who are from the Feywild, they're in between, so I feel like a good in between. So half elf again also makes a lot of sense. But I think a Firbolg was like another good option. And something like even like a goblin, if you wanted to play like a goblin, I think this could be good because they have that sort of fairy tale.
Oh, definitely, yeah. Halflings, gnomes, you know.
Yeah, a gnome as well would be good.
If there could be such a thing.
With these drawings, I've been generally trying to do something like a little different. For this one, I have played it completely straight, just because this one comes with a lot of the word baggage sounds negative, but it comes with a lot of like story stuff for where your powers are coming from, and I think it would be if you started changing all of that to make it like different and weird. At that point, you're just playing that class for the abilities and not for what the class is meant to be doing.
I think you have to play this one straight.
Yeah, exactly. So this one, again, I've done it completely straightforward, and that's fine.
Because the flavour doesn't make sense.
Exactly. So yeah, you get this at 3rd level.
You get some domain spells.
Yeah, which I was surprised by. I didn't know that Rangers got those actually. They're good spells.
These ones are all incredibly like Fey. They fit the Fey.
Charm person is obviously going to be good, and I feel Misty Step, obviously flavor-wise, really good choice. I don't know how useful it'll be for a ranger because they do generally have, good health. Good. It's not going to be useless, but it's just I feel it's there because it makes a lot of sense flavor-wise.
I think Misty Step's really good, to be honest.
It's really good, yeah. Like
such a good ability.
It also fits the Fey element, like all of the Eladrin. They all get free Misty Step. Yeah.
That's fair. That's cool.
And then these other ones, when it's Dispel Magic and Banishment, and with the whole flavour of, like the Guardian, I think that this person could be a really good character in the party of people who don't want to deal with other planes with the Paladin of Watcher.
That could be cool.
They could be a 3-man party of the no travel allowed boys.
Yeah,
I kind of like that idea of explicitly like setting up a party that is like interdimensional cops.
Yeah. Space cops.
Specifically making a party and like a campaign around that, I think would be really good. Because again, when we talked about the Paladin Watcher, we were talking a bit about how it might be worth checking with your DM if it's going to matter about plane stuff. So having a campaign where like even you could, if some people don't mind playing with like pre-made characters and stuff, maybe the DM could make these are the party pick of these people, and this could even be one who like if you had that order of Watchers in the Paladin like as an organization, this could be someone who's part of that organization.
Yeah.
So Watchers, Fey Division.
Exactly, yeah. And Banishment's always going to be good. Obviously, your spell slots aren't great, so it's going to be difficult to banish things that are, like, real strong. But Banishment is always a very good spell, so getting it even at 13th is going to be helpful. The other thing they get 3rd level is they get... Oh yeah, they get Cunning Will, which means you get advantage on saving throws against being charmed or frightened, which I believe... Is this what elves get? Elves get something similar.
Same as elves.
Is exactly the same as elves. Cool.
Yep. Charmed and you can't be magically put to sleep.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And then in addition, you get proficiency in a skill, deception, performance, or persuasion.
And a talkie skill.
Yeah. So this is really cool. Again, it's pushing you towards being really well themed. I feel, and again, this is why you kind of have to play it straight because the things that you get are so like strong in their theming that it'd be very difficult and detrimental, I think, to try and twist it too much. And also, getting advantage against being charmed or frightened. I mean, all bad status effects are bad, but I feel like
being
charmed is like,
sucks.
especially unpleasant.
Yeah.
I'm going to put this out there, I don't like this one.
Do you not?
Because of if you are playing an elf, you get
the overlap, yeah. That's true. I can see that.
I believe it should say an extra line that you get triple advantage, like Elven Accuracy.
That could be very cool.
The feat where it would make it that the triple advantage is something that only elves get.
Yeah.
And it's in an extra thing now. If you are a Fey Wanderer, you also can get this.
Yeah. That could be cool.
I could see that.
Definitely something to consider house ruling in, maybe.
Because I think it's like, 3rd level, I get some spells and of course Dreadful Strikes in a minute. Yeah. But then I also just get, training and performance.
Obviously, you get quite a lot at your 3rd level, not as much as some other classes. But yeah, if you are playing as a full elf, it will be something that's like, you'll forget that you're even supposed to have that. You're just like, oh, okay, fine, whatever. Oh yeah, so okay, yeah, as you say, Dreadful Strikes. The last thing you get at 3rd level, every ranger it gets like a damagey buff thing to mean that they have to be able to keep up damage wise with the other rangers. I feel is why this is here.
So basically, yeah, the what it's saying is because this is really building towards being like 2-weapon fighting at least early on.
Yeah.
Because it says that it says that a weapon on a hit deals an extra 1d6 psychic damage. Use a bonus action to do it. And then it basically says that you can also use a bonus action to attack as well if you're 2-weapon fighting and imbue it with Dreadful Strikes.
Yeah.
So it's kind of trying to tell you that you should have 2 weapons and you should be swinging them both at the enemy.
And even if it's not making it so 2-weapon fighting is better, it's just so that if you are wanting to do 2-weapon fighting, it's not awful. Like, it's actually usable with 2-weapon fighting.
Yeah. It really is just like a d6 extra damage.
Yeah.
And then you really want to be engaging more than one thing, because a creature can only take the damage once per turn. So you can split up your attacks. But you can split up your attacks, so if there's 2 enemies there, you can attack one with 1 for your d6 plus a d6, say for instance short sword.
This is fine. It's not anything super exciting, but again, this is the 3rd thing you get at level 3, so it's just another nice thing to have.
Yeah, when you're getting in combo with all those, it's just nice to get that damage.
Yeah.
in.
It's cool. You'll think of the character like how you want to play it, like immediately, like, what can I do with my 2-weapon fighting, like, and then you'd position yourself trying to hit more than one thing. And if you've got like any kind of like fighting styles to boost that stuff, or feats, it's going to start to feel really good. Yeah.
What I will say, and this is not a critique of this thing in particular, I think this is more of a critique of psychic damage in D&D is something that's a bit nebulous, and the way it's used here is that it's something that's frightening and intimidating and like messing with your head, and that's causing you to take damage. And that's what I think, for example, with the Lycanthrope Barbarian, they had a psychic damage thing as well, and again, that was like driving you crazy thing. But there are like some sources of psychic damage where it's more like where I feel like it should be force damage. If you know, do you know what I mean? I think that they're sometimes a bit interchangeable, which has led in my mind. It's almost like psychic damage isn't purely the damage isn't magical. The source of the psychic damage is magical, but the actual damage that psychic is like internal, like mental damage. Does that make any sense?
I get what you mean.
I get what you mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's always kind of been the case, like with the Barbarian Path of the Bear, Totem of the Bear, where you gained resistance to all damage except psychic.
Right, yeah.
Because psychic doesn't physically hit you.
Yeah. Anyway, I think that's more of a slight inconsistency, and I think they've probably been better about it more recently, like in these things. But like thinking back to the mystic, the psychic subclasses, I feel like some of them were doing psychic damage on like attacks that weren't to do with changing people's perception or being very scary and stuff like that. Anyway.
They were mind bullets, pretty much.
Yeah, exactly. It's probably more to do with my understanding of what psychic damage is and how it can be. It's not like slashing, where slashing is always going to be, getting cut. So it's psychic has like 2 modes that it kind of can be, and it doesn't really make much difference overall. Anyway, that was my thing. Okay, Blessings of the Courts is the 7th level thing, and this is the one that I don't like, because it's or half of this one is the one I don't like, because this is a smite, paladin smite. You use a spell slot, you do extra psychic damage, it's 3d6, and then make a wisdom save or they get frightened. Like, obviously that's, as an ability, that's fine, but it is just a smite attack, and like, cool, yeah.
It's not super exciting at like 7th level, so
it's a bit better than a smite as well.
Yeah, it's the damage. Yeah, and the damage.
It's 2d8.
Per spell slot. Yeah, as it were. And in addition, because it's blessings of the courts, there's another thing you get. You also get, when you make a charisma check, you can add your wisdom modifier, which is really good. And I feel like that's like a little afterthought at the end there. But of the 2 abilities of this level 7, that's the one I think is more interesting. Anyhow.
But yeah, it's interesting because this doesn't scale like Blessing of the Court. It's not like Smite where you expend higher level spell slots for more damage.
That's true, yeah.
This is just this.
Yeah.
This is what you get.
Oh, that's true, yeah. It doesn't even say, it doesn't even mention what spell slot. Right. That's actually kind of weird. Even if there's no difference between spending a 1st or 4th level. That almost feels like an oversight, because especially with some of the other things where they've been, more recently, where they've been letting you redeem different spell slots to do various things. I don't know, maybe it's just a use for 1st level spell slots in their mind. Like a ranger spell, essentially, I guess.
I think so. I think it's just trying to have that big attack moment.
Sure, yeah. Again, this is another one where the theming is very important, because the line here is, you have learned techniques, or eerie techniques, from the gloaming court and the summer court of the Vale. These are like, those are like specific things within like the setting, and these are things that you've been taught. Again, this isn't like the power has been like obviously you can interpret that however you want, but I feel like you have your characters having this personal relationship with maybe not an individual, but with the hierarchy that's going on in the Feywild.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's like they're basically antitheses.
Yeah.
It's like the Gloaming Court and the Summer Court.
Yeah. If you do this without thinking about it, then you might. You won't get everything out of it that you could from this, because it could be very cool to have, again, almost like a patron with that, but if like an archfey, there's even there's precedent for that. But yeah, if you don't do that properly, I feel that you might be missing out on what this class can be, and it'll just be kind of generic feeling otherwise.
That's actually true. Yeah, I never thought of that. Like this one more explicit than anything. Like if you don't. It makes no sense for a character to just know this stuff.
Yeah. Especially from the way it's written, like explicitly from the way it's written. Like you have to be engaging with the Feywild directly.
Yeah, you can't just be running around the world killing goblins and getting loot and then suddenly unlock these abilities.
Yeah. I think more so than like any other class. This one is like when you're leveling up, you want downtime because you got to go talk to these guys. You got to go get your training.
Yeah,
or have a teacher.
Yeah.
Again, it's really cool, but it's what put me off originally thinking about it. I was like, ooh, this is a bit restrictive, but sometimes that's good. Oh, there's 2 more things. Good, Rangers get loads of stuff. Crikey, mate. So the level 11 thing, beguiling twist. You learn to do Oh yeah, this one's really cool. I really like this ability. Basically, when the wording of it is really weird, if I'm remembering correctly. So I had to reread it a couple of times, and then I got it. So basically, when someone succeeds against a saving throw to be charmed or frightened, and that doesn't mean it's any creature. So this can be an enemy or an ally.
Yeah,
you can use your action to force another creature to. And then this is where the wording gets weird. But you may force another creature to make another wisdom saving throw against your DC, or they can be either charmed or frightened by you for a minute, or take some psychic damage. That's really cool. Really, really cool ability.
It's a twist. The story takes a twist.
Yeah. It's really, really awesome. Again, that strong theming, charmed, frightened. The level 11th, that's when like charmed creatures with charmed effects appear more like, vampires and stuff like that.
They start popping out around then and make life a bit miserable.
Yeah, and
Robert, you are glue. Bounce off me and stick to you.
And I think
the incantation that you say to.
Frightened is like terrifying presence and stuff. Dragons have as well, don't they?
I was going to say you can technically bounce a dragon's frightening presence back at itself.
That would be an amazing way to get through legendary resistances.
I think they might be immune.
That's true, but just in general, things
a lot of them can be that can do it, can't they?
That's true. But it's really characterful for like Feywild stuff, and I always kind of, in a way, I feel like this could be a bard thing. Like this could have been a bard class. I feel, and that would have worked probably as well or well in different ways. It's very cool, and having that honor ranger is interesting because again, it's kind of a different flavor to just. I'm the guy who lives in the woods and hits things with a sword and has a bow. Like it's a different take on what a ranger might be, and I think it's cool.
Yeah, I mean, not to harp on it, but a Fey bard, not the creation one we got, would be really cool.
Yep.
Like a proper Fey individual.
Yeah.
It fits too much with mind influencing effects that it's kind of strange. I almost feel that bards. I mean, I've kind of done this in campaigns I've run, that bards already have a Fey influence.
Sure,
to have their magics work.
It can't. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? It just fits. It fits so well.
Fits so good.
Like a nice glove.
What I will say, and this is a general point that again, when I first was looking at this, I was like, again, and there's a lot. I feel like there's a lot. I've not actually counted. I feel like there's a lot of Fey subclasses. More than like I feel like there's a disproportionate amount compared to like other things. In that like there's the Archfey, and then there's this, and I can't remember the other ones, but I swear there's some
green.
More.
There's the green paladin.
There you go. Yeah, that's the one. And
Perseverance. Yeah, the all druids.
Isn't there a sorcerer, Fey sorcerer now as well?
It might be, but I think it's because the Fey is just to say
it's a big thing.
It's also a very easy, good source of power.
Sure, yeah, I can see that.
You can very easily make a player character with some kind of Fey influence, because the Fey influence doesn't need to be severe, but also it can also kind of be a bit nicer.
It's nice, but it's not like lawful good. It's a good chaotic good thing.
Having a bunch of like, I want them to come out of these, but like having a demonic fighter.
Yeah.
Is a lot harder to maybe rationalize as being a good character.
Sure, I get you.
I think that when it comes to planes, like the Fae's just like there's a bit more bleed over, like kind of already set up in like the entire
the monster
setting.
Manuals
Like it's not like compared to some of the other planes, like where the Modrons live, like that. Having that,
make it a Modron class. That would be mad.
Smashing the Modron plane into like the material plane is a bit bad, and then there's obviously like the plane of fire where you just die. Having a plane where people can go in between, like fairly like easily, like even like
they are geographically closest, the Fae and material plane. So it doesn't make no sense. It's just one of those things. When I first read it, I was like, my initial reaction was like again,
especially because you want. Hey, you just turn your head left to look at Warlock, and it's like all of them are in Warlock.
Where's all the Shadowfell stuff? I feel like no one cares about the Shadowfell in 2020.
Justice for Shadowfell.
I think like the Shadowkai and that stuff.
Yeah, but anyway. It's just if it was a thing that I thought about, I'm not going to defend the thought because I don't think there is a necessarily disproportionate amount. It's more that when it gets like specific things, I think there's a couple more, but there's also like a couple of giant classes at this point as well. So anyway, that was I remember that was a point that I did think, but I don't hold strong opinions about at this point. Anyway, the final thing.
I really like this last ability.
Yeah, Misty Presence. I again agree. Very, very cool. This is one of my favorite things that they do.
Looks like good fun.
Really fun. So basically, you magically remove yourself from one creature's perception. So basically, a thing makes a wisdom save, and then if they fail, they can't see or hear you for 24 hours, which is crazy. They can make the same throw again if you attack them. Again, this is another thing I like about this ability. It explicitly is setting up so that it can be a combat ability, but it doesn't have to be. And I think it's kind of like those high level monk abilities where they have like a combat application, but they're mainly their primary thing is being a good non-combat thing. And if you have used it, you can do it again if you use a 4th level spell slot. And we've talked about this. Yeah, it's cool. And again, it's fun because like if you use it and then you don't get much out of it, it would be annoying to be like, well, I guess I've got to wait for a long rest. So that's cool.
I like it a lot because it fills that idea of becoming someone's shadow almost. Just pestering them. I also like the idea of spying on someone with this.
Yeah.
There's an episode of Doctor Who they have a perception filter.
Oh yeah.
It's one of the 10 episodes where basically this would be how I would roleplay it.
Sure.
That it's not that they can't see you. It's just they don't pay any attention to you.
Yeah. You're always in like the background, the edge of their sight. Yeah.
That's what a perception filter is in Doctor Who.
But it's also really kind of spooky. And this class, again, it's not. It has that fear, like mechanic, a lot of it built into it. And the Feywild in general is like an intimidating alien thing. And
because you'd have to try and rationalize a creature who, for instance, is getting hit.
Yeah.
I don't think he would maybe act like he wouldn't act like maybe you're completely not there, because you'd hit him and he'd feel it.
He'd turn around and then
he'd ready his shield.
Yeah,
because of a creature that has a shield, it would make no sense for them to even be able to use it against you.
No, yeah. Well, if you're invisible, of course you definitely have an advantage. I'm sure you'd probably your DM might even give you automatic crits count them as incapacitated if they're out of combat completely.
Yeah,
I think that would be very fair.
It's just some cool flavour. I can really imagine somebody who uses their magic to manipulate.
Yeah.
Getting a lot of value out of this, which is what a lot of this class kind of does.
Yeah, it's very cool.
I feel that this needs to have a location in the world where this character is from. this needs to have almost more setup than a lot of the other classes we talk about. Where we do talk about, having a background and, filling in. I feel that to really get the most out of this, you need to have a campaign where the Feywild will be a thing in the game.
Probably the main component.
Yeah.
And again, I think that having a whole campaign based around the Watcher class, this class, and maybe one of the others, maybe even like the
Warlock,
the Mechanus Sorcerer or Warlock of some sort, I think would be really, really cool.
A lot of things that a lot of DMs do is they will say that these two players know each other, and then they can kind of tie the group together at least a little bit to start with.
Yeah.
Having the Watcher and this Ranger know each other to start with.
Sure, yeah.
That could maybe be a good mini group instead of, because maybe making a whole group of these classes might start to make people feel not special.
Yeah, fair. That's a good point.
I can see.
Everyone needs their moment, don't they? So.
And again, this is one that I think would be very good to start at a higher level already, so that you don't have to go through a lot.
I'm gonna be real. 7th, they have to start at 7th.
That would be the easiest, yeah. And we've talked about this from a lot of them. Again, this could be a very good NPC, and having that moment where someone in the party can't see this person, but everyone else is
that could
right
be really
there.
funny.
Well, they're just right there. And they can't see, and that could be quite fun.
Yeah.
Especially if they're not an enemy, but unclear. They're keeping an eye on the party.
I didn't even think of that, honestly. Normally it's like that straight over, but if your characters go to the Feywild, having this guy meet them there, who's from your plane,
it's a connection that it's someone you can ask questions and they'll be like, yes, well, this is different because
what
of
are you guys doing here?
Yeah, so that could be very cool.
And Jim's like, I can't see him.
Really?
Who are you talking to?
So yeah, this is one. I think this is probably one of my favourite Rangers. As I say, not a massive fan of Ranger, but this is cool.
I like this class.
I like your drawing a lot.
Yeah, the drawing's real cool.
The other thing about Fearbolg is that they have a go invisible ability already.
Yeah.
So again, it fits this class really, really well. I only think.
I agree. I never thought Fearbolg. I kind of forgot about it.
Same.
Everyone. I was like, I'm gonna pick something odd again because I for one thing, I could have drawn an elf or a half elf. That would have been fine. But also, how do you draw a half elf that isn't just a drawing of an elf? That's a hard question.
Less pointy, yeah.
Slightly less pointy, but if there's not an elf standing next to him,
you wouldn't
how do you know how pointy I draw it?
How pointy
this is an issue that I've had when I've been drawing NPCs for what I've been running recently.
That's part of the problem I had with drawing this.
Oh yeah, that's the thing.
This to start with, when you were drawing the character, I was like, "Oh, is that a Fearbolg?" And then I went, "Oh, it could just be a stylized elf before it was coloured."
Yeah. I wouldn't draw elfers like that. But I know that there are people who
Some people do. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. This artistically was inspired by the work, not very much inspired, but a bit inspired. I had his work open of Arthur Rackham, who was an illustrator from about 100 years ago. And I like his work. So
that's great.
That's
a plug.
Go check out Arthur Rackham. He really needs the support. He's not done any work for ages.
Go motivate him. Go
motivate Rackham. It's a cool class. I still don't like Ranger, but if I were to play one tomorrow, it would be a toss-up between this and Beastmaster Ranger, I think.
So this is an unearthed arcana and not a nerfed fartcana.
Exactly.
This is an unearthed arcana. They really did it this time.
I feel there's maybe one thing missing.
Yeah?
Confusion.
That would be cool.
Confusion is a very Fey spell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's I've had a bard in every party we've ever played, and when we get to 4th level for confusion.
Yeah.
Or 3rd level, I don't remember. It's just the creature is confused and he does weird things, and it feels like this class would do that.
I think that would be cool. Maybe having what's the one where you become an illusion of 3? I always forget.
Mirror image.
Mirror image, that could be a cool one as well. Something like you're in the thick of the fight and you're illusory somehow. Again, I think there's a lot you could load onto this that maybe would make it a bit much.
Yeah, Fey familiar could also be.
Yeah.
Like lots of different little things that maybe you can add in feats with Magic Initiate and
That's
stuff
true.
like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Always in items and rewards as the DM. I think that'd be fine. Cool.
You
Cool
can really
stuff.
pile on the flavour more and more, and it will just get better and better.
Yeah.
Like weapons made from materials
Ironwood
found
and
in the
stuff.
Feywild. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can. You bring this character along, and you're playing it straight. And if the DM doesn't reward you with items that are in line with that,
Yeah.
Bad DM.
Here's an instrument of Qualish. Congratulations.
here's a red steel warhammer.
My favorite.
Any other cool race? I think actually, I think I kind of regret not doing a goblin now for this. I think a goblin actually be really kind of cool for this, or like a hobgoblin. That could be cool.
I like Goblin a lot because of it seems like the Goblin stumbled into this role.
Yeah, but he could be. Yeah, a goblin.
No, I
a
mean
goblin
it in a good
specifically.
way.
Yeah, he stumbled in.
I mean it in
and
a
then
good
like a
way,
hobgoblin, it'd be a bit more towards Firbolg in that it'd be taking it seriously and not quite so comedic.
Well, I like that it's a serious Goblin now, but like it had a run-in with some fey creature that changed how its existence.
Maybe it was the minion of a hag, and then it got a. I think it could be very cool.
It got responsibility.
Yeah.
And now it takes its job super seriously, and it would just be your party would love interacting with a goblin that has like a shadow that dances on its own, like one of these abilities.
That's cool.
So little Gobbo trying his best.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that.
But I didn't want to do Firbolg because I thought, when's the next time that would be good?
Yeah.
Like druids always make sense for Firbolgs, but I think that's a bit played out and not played out, but it's expected.
Mm.
And speaking of druids, what I've got for druid is not expected.
Ooh.
I like this next druid a lot, and it's gonna. I haven't finished drawing it, but I'm hoping it'll be good.
So that's a teaser. So it's 3 out of 3 for Unearthed Arcana Part 3.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll get a druid finally worthy of the name druid, like a real druid.
I actually have secretly always wanted. I like the druid class, and this is next time I make a character, I think I'm going to want to make a druid. Though I have also gone on record saying that I'm never going to make a character without rolling everything randomly. So
we'll see.
maybe I'll just have to make a
It
druid
could be a really bad
Praying
druid.
for that wisdom.
with just terrible stats.
9
druid.
wisdom
Maybe I'll have to
druid.
go with that. We'll see.
Well, I'm playing a terrible stats character right now.
You are. That's true.
because I forced you to roll. I forced everyone
Forced me to
stats
roll.
randomly.
I didn't want to roll. I didn't.
But it's fine. Anyway, tune in later on, hopefully sometime soonish for the druid. Goodbye.